I'm not interested in story or anything really outside of the movement and the task, like seeing dance as a task and completing that task fully, and making some of the jumping and the running and the exciting, more athletic things that Balance Dance Company does so well, just as important as simple gestural phrases. I started this piece with a phrase that I did in the summer with them, that first like running phrase. And I kept saying like, win the race, win the race. And another idea that kept driving this dance was the idea of competition. And not really competition against others, but against myself. So keeping score, but really in the end, eliminating any sense of score. This group in particular, I've taught most of them. And so just working with them, like we already have a very familiar relationship. They know me very well. I try to maintain a sense of professionalism. It doesn't really happen at all. But they still really respect me as a choreographer, as they do any choreographer. And so it's fun sort of transferring this very familiar relationship and moving it into like, I'm your choreographer now. Ballet. When I was 16, I quit, and my dear friend Elizabeth Micheletty, best friend to this day, says to me, come take a class of balance. I walk in, and in true Elizabeth Micheletty fashion, she was not here. And so I walk in, and she's not here, I don't know anybody. I see this giant red wall, and I go, what is this hippie nonsense? And needless to say, it was like the best class of my life. I still remember my first class at Balance. We were doing all this crazy stuff and I was like, this is my home. And it's been my home. And then the thing that really got to me, and this is really like something that I've carried throughout my entire life in what I do now, is I was doing something across the floor and Helena stopped me and she said, Amanda, just trust yourself. And I was like, what? And I looked around and nobody seemed to be like affected in any way by that statement, like trust yourself, and I was like, and as a youth, and I mean as a dancer and just as a youth in general, the last thing you're told is to trust yourself. You're like, do not trust yourself, you're an idiot, you're a teenager. And all of a sudden I had somebody telling me to trust myself, and I was like, what? It just blew my mind. And that's what Balance Company did for me. It said, trust yourself. And I've been trying to do that ever since, as an artist, as a teacher, as just a person. And the fact that Balance Dance Company does that for young women requires, demands really, that you trust yourself. Psh, that's ridiculous. Psh. And that's what Balance has done.